What is up, Who Dat Nation? It's Chris Zolgu from the Straight Up Saints podcast presented by Boo Crew Media, back at here with another little prospect recap slash review. The New Orleans Saints with the 161st pick end up selecting App State linebacker DeMarco Jackson in the 5th round of the 2022 NFL draft. And I know initially some people were kind of confused about the pick, a little bit unsure as to what we can expect or what we shouldn't expect maybe from this newest member of the Saints. And I know that some people, even including myself, I'll be honest, we're hoping for maybe a running back. I've seen there's a run on that position on day 3. There's been a run on tight end. Saints opt to go defense. That is totally okay with me because at the end of the day, I do understand what they're kind of thinking about with this pick. DeMarco Jackson's a very intriguing linebacker prospect in the sense that whether it's playing with instincts, playing with good gap integrity, or just having good sideline to sideline range, he kind of does fill that. Now, DeMarco Jackson is not going to be some all-world, I would say, pass coverage type of linebacker. I don't think that's what you get him for and expect that. But do you expect him to kind of be really sound against the run? Do you expect his instincts to be something that should allow him to stay in the league? I think the answer to that might end up being yes. And of course, we know with every prospect, time tells the story, and you never really know until you know. But I think with DeMarco Jackson, there's a lot to like there. And for anyone wondering in terms of what the athletic profile is, you're talking about a 6'1 linebacker who's 233 and ran a 4.55, I believe, in the 40-yard dash. So the speed's not a problem. His relative athletic score isn't like all, I would say other world in terms of what the Saints usually like. They usually like in the high 9s. He doesn't exactly hit that number, but the speed is there, obviously. And I think at the very least, we could maybe see, if Jackson does make the roster, see him on special teams early on to start his career and then maybe work his way up. And I think, one part of this pick that really makes a lot of sense for me is that as much as we love Demario Davis, he's not getting any younger. Now, we might be fooled because A, he hasn't aged a day, and B, his skill just continues to get better. But I do think that for New Orleans, when you look at this linebacker room, and we kind of talked about this, remember, a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about, is Pete Werner ready for prime time? And spoiler alert, I think the answer is yes. Sure, Pete Werner's a really talented player, and DeMario is one of the best linebackers in football. What's behind them on the depth chart? And if the Saints do lose Quan Alexander in free agency, which is a possibility, you need to get better at that position. And even if you did bring Quan back, you can argue you need to get younger at that position. So I get that aspect of this, and I think it's important to remember Dennis Allen's a defensive coach. He's going to want to bring in fresh blood on the defensive side of the football. So that's why we've seen the last 2 days, whether it's Alontae Taylor on Friday night or even DeMarco Jackson today, the Saints are getting in new blood on defense, and I totally get it. And again, they don't really have the draft assets right now to go attack other positions we may want them to, like go get another receiver or go get a tight end or go get a running back. But hopefully they can knock one of those off the board with that next pick they have on day 3. And obviously I'll have a video for that. And then maybe in the undrafted pool, they always find a way to sneak 1 or 2 onto the roster. Maybe that trend will continue even with Dennis Allen as the head coach. So for now, I think there is something to like about DeMarco Jackson. He really is, I would say he could be a thumper if you want him to. I think he does have that downhill approach that you want from a linebacker, which is key to have. And look, I don't know if he will hit his ceiling because, again, you're playing a guessing game when it comes to every prospect, but I totally understand why they went linebacker. It was a sneaky need, I would say, in terms of when you're looking down the depth chart, do you feel good about it? And I do think that was the one area on this defense that it made sense to me. Defensive line, I think they're pretty stout. I thought they were stout on DB. They took one more yesterday. Linebacker needed some help, and maybe they got that with DeMarco Jackson. So we'll see what happens, but welcome DeMarco Jackson to the New Orleans Saints. We're going to see what he's all about throughout training camp and then the preseason. And hopefully, man, he could turn out to be a player for the black and gold, but we'll see what happens. Saints have one more pick on day 3. They could do some shuffling, and if so, I'll be here to talk about it. But for now, we'll just get ready for that next pick. So that's my little recap here for DeMarco Jackson. There's so much stuff you can check out, whether you want to go on YouTube, Twitter. I'm sure you'll find some clips. I'll post some clips for you guys as well if you guys want me to, so you guys could see what your new linebacker is all about on the football field. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for another video later today.